Tier 1, Chapter 36.
Chapter 36. I quickly take off my helmet and try to pull myself together. It proves to be impossible. With my eyes red and puffy, I step off the bike and move slowly up the walkway. Grace stands as I approach, looking stiff and out of place on my whimsical porch in her crisp white shirt and black slacks. "Hi, Kate. I am sorry to come over unannounced. I wanted to check in on you and see how you are handling everything," she says flatly. I look at her with my wrecked face, daring her to comment. "It's been hard," is all I can get out. I really just want to go inside and curl up in bed. Instead, I say, "Can I get you some water or herbal tea?" "That would be great." I open the door and walk into the kitchen to get the mugs. "When you didn't show up for the boys' first reversal treatment, I was so concerned. I wanted to personally come by and make sure everything was all right." I sigh. I completely forgot to call today. Of course that raised red flags. I place the teapot on the stove. Our final appointment with Eric was yesterday. I don't know why I even bothered to say that. Of course she already knows. And that was difficult for all of us. Then we discussed him collecting his things this morning. The boys seem to be doing okay, but I'm not. I completely forgot to cancel that. I think I want to wait until after the peace celebration to move forward. They are so excited about it, and it's providing a great distraction. After that, I think they will need it more. I hear the pot whistle, take it off the burner, and pour it over the tea bags in our mugs. "I am sure the last few days have been a blur," Grace says empathetically. "Have you talked with Nick about it?" "I really haven't had a chance. I've been trying to keep everyone together here." "Talking to someone you trust can be really helpful in this situation." I'm not an idiot. Of course I know talking with someone would be helpful. Why does she only bring up Nick and not Sherry? I really hate feeling like I am a pawn, like I am being manipulated. I take a deep breath and a thought occurs to me. Why haven't Nick and I been asked to do training? Eric talked about how they are doing training and conditioning with the other pairs that have matched. Why haven't they said one thing to me? I assume they are meeting with Nick at this point, but who knows? It can only be one of two things. Either they don't trust me to react the way they think I should, or they already know that Eric has told me. Is there something in my behavior that is tipping them off? Or in Eric's behavior? Is there anything I have done in my life to make them think that I would have a propensity to rebel against something? But that's exactly what I'm doing. I am rebelling. Eric and I have already set up a time to meet. Do they know about that? I don't see how they could, but my heart starts to beat faster. "That's a great suggestion. Thank you," I say calmly. I remove the bags from the mugs and pass one to Grace. She blows along the surface and takes a small sip. "Do you need anything from the committee? We so rarely deal with unpairing that I don't think we have the best resources. Have you considered doing reversal therapy as well?" She says it like our unpairing is an unfortunate occurrence, not something that she orchestrated. Anger rises up in my chest. I take a drink. It's too hot, but somehow that helps. I've considered it. I just need more time to really see how my brain is going to deal with this. I haven't had many experiences in my life when I have been pushed to the max emotionally like this. I don't know what to expect. "Don't you?" Grace says quietly. I pause. "What do you mean by that?" She looks at me with what I can only assume is her version of a kind smile. It feels forced. "I have just been thinking about when your mother died. I remember it being very hard for you." It's as if she threw cold water over me. Of course losing my mother was difficult. Am I really being judged for my emotional response then? I had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and both of my parents died within a year of each other. I wasn't responding just to my mother's death, I was responding to all of it. There were so many things creating chaos for me during that time. I don't feel like I can expect that level of reaction to this event. But this is someone you have built a life with for 11 years. Do you honestly think your level of emotional response will be less? She makes a good point. I don't know that I can directly compare my level of emotional bonding and investment with my parents versus Eric. I was also emotionally and physically stressed with child rearing when my parents died. I think I'm in a better place now. Well, that's good to hear. She takes another sip. I think about what I was like when my mother died. It wasn't pretty. Back then, I assumed life would continue the way it always had, that every day would get better and happiness was an unlimited resource. I was very optimistic then. I guess I still am, but it's more steeped in reality now. When my mom died, my brain literally couldn't process it, despite the fact that I had been given plenty of warning. Looking back at that period now, I recognize that I was only paying attention to the good. I only ever allowed myself to hear that the treatment was working. I heard about the increase in her platelet and red blood cell counts. I saw that she wasn't weak and throwing up when we went out for her birthday. I didn't see the days when she couldn't lift her arms, or when she slept on the washroom floor so she wouldn't throw up in her bed. I didn't see the scans showing her body lit up in every place imaginable. I wrote those things off as part of the process, just something that we had to pass through on the way to recovery. Because, of course, she was going to recover. Never once did I think otherwise. The day that she died, I was right there holding her hand. She was lying in her bed, and I remember the privacy curtain lightly blowing in the breeze. Her window must have been open, but I don't remember checking it. That image will stay with me forever. Her face, creased with pain, suddenly at peace. The curtain kept gently blowing, the sun still shining. Nothing changed. I sat there for a long time waiting for her to take another breath, frozen until Eric put his hand on my shoulder. The next few weeks were an incomprehensible blur. People have told me that I seemed normal, that they were impressed with my ability to handle everything so easily. I wasn't handling anything. I just checked out. We had a simple gathering with those who knew her, to share stories and give closure. The next day it was like a switch was flipped in me. I lost all motivation to do anything, and I couldn't explain myself. I spent weeks like this. Eric took care of everything for our family, and later discussions have helped me understand that he too was terrified and felt helpless. I eventually pulled out of it, but only because of his love and support. Of course, Grace doesn't know that I am in no danger of that happening again. She doesn't know that I don't intend to lose Eric. Because I don't know what else to say, I sip my tea and wait, hoping that this meeting will pass quickly. Well, I guess my fears were unfounded, she says simply. Is there anything we can do to support you through this? I don't mean to sound naive, Grace. I know it will be a long road. I think I know what warning signs to look for, though. I will let you know if I get desperate. She stands and sets her mug by the sink. Thank you for the tea. I better get going. I breathe a silent sigh of relief and walk her to the door, politely sending her off. Now, to curl up and cry.